Honored to be here on the floor with you presiding today. I rise this afternoon to share my gratitude, and I know I speak for our presiding officer and every member of this body, all 100 of us, to share our gratitude for those who helped ensure the passage of the Fire Grants and Safety Act through the Senate today, but really in the weeks leading up to today. As we all know, a bunch of us as kids, probably like my sister and me, we wanted to grow up and be firefighters. And we ended up finding other ways to serve our states and our communities. But in the beginning, we wanted to be firefighters. And I might add that our two sons, who are now grown and off into the world, they wanted to be firefighters. Those were the role models that they emulated and wanted to be more like. I think maybe one of the reasons why is it's because it's widely known that firefighters put their lives on the line for us, not just occasionally, not maybe during holidays or weekends, but like every day. And today we honor them by passing this legislation and sending it to our colleagues in the House of Representatives. I think the final vote, if I noticed it, Mr. President, was, I believe, was 98-2. It's not every day we pass a bill with 98 votes. That means like just about every Democrat and about every Republican in this body voted for it. And I know I hear a lot from people, not just in Delaware, but in other states that I visit. People say, why don't you just work together? Why can't you guys and gals just work together and get something done? And I would present this as just a great example of what we can accomplish when we do work together. I especially want to thank a couple of people among our colleagues whose hard work actually enabled us to work together and to pull together and to craft this bipartisan compromise. And I think a bipartisan triumph. Let me just start with our with our fellow members of the Congressional Fire Service Caucus. And the co-leads on this bill, they include Senator Gary Peters, Senator Lisa Murkowski, Senator Susan Collins, and last time I checked, yours truly as well. I also want to thank the entire Congressional Fire Services Caucus for their bipartisan work on this issue, including the chairs of the Congressional Fire Services Caucus, Senator John Tester of Montana. There are also many organizations who helped us better understand the needs of our firefighters, and I want to thank them too. Let me just mention them briefly, if I may. The Congressional Fire Services Institute, the International Association of Firefighters, the International Association of Fire Chiefs, the National Volunteer Fire Council, the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, and the National Fire Protection Association. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that we could never have done this without their hard work and their encouragement, even today. I just want to say, Mr. President, most of us in this body will go to bed tonight and turn off the lights and go to sleep and not have to worry about being awakened in the middle of the night to go out and save somebody's life. We're not going to have to be disrupted with our own families, their own personal lives, to go out and lend a hand to where there's been an auto accident or a truck accident, and the lives are at risk. We're not going to be drawn into a situation with a house on fire, and we had not too long ago in Delaware where firefighters were literally rushed into a house that was on fire, and with the feeling that there were people literally in the basement of the house. The floor of the house collapsed, and we lost the lives of several firefighters. But none of us have to worry about that, making that kind of sacrifice and undertaking those kinds of risks. None of us have to worry about being the young woman who was a volunteer firefighter. She worked in healthcare fields, I recall, and was a volunteer firefighter, and worked late at night. And she was literally driving home at I-95 through Wilmington, where we were doing a reconstruction of I-95 right through the middle of our city. And there was an accident, and about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, the volunteer firefighter, the woman, stopped to provide help to those that were impacted. The volunteer firefighter was killed. She was struck by a passing vehicle and lost to her life. None of us have to worry about any of that happening and having to put ourselves or members of our family in that kind of jeopardy. And the reason why is because there are literally thousands, tens of thousands of people from all corners of this country, all different sizes and colors, men, women, young and old, who understand that we all have an obligation to serve and to look out for other people, even when it puts us in danger and at risk for our own lives. So in passing this legislation, it goes to the House of Representatives now. It's not a done deal. But our hope is the House of Representatives will see fit to embrace it and pass it and send it on to the President. I presume that most presidents, I've been privileged to know quite a few of them, have great affection for the firefighters in their own states where they come from. Nobody has a greater affection in Delaware than does our president. And he and I and Chris Coons, Mike Castle, Pete DuPont, and all who came before us share that affection and that high regard. I've heard our president, when he was a mere senator, say that there are actually 3 political parties in Delaware, and one of those is Democrat, one is Republican, and the other are the folks that are the firefighters and their families, and they stand out. In the crowd. I just close with this. Sometimes you ask people why they're willing to put their lives in danger and help save our lives and the lives of others that are in jeopardy. And I've heard from hundreds of men and women. So the reason why they do it, it gives them joy. It gives them joy to know that they're making a difference with their life, that they're serving other people. And one or two every now and then people will actually invoke the golden rule: treat other people the way you want to be treated. How would I want to be treated if my house were on fire? How would I want to be treated if my son or my daughter were in a traffic accident, or there were a forest fire and surrounding our community? How would I want to be treated? And to say, well, if that's the way I'd like to be, why don't I treat other people the same way? And so with that, Mr. President, I think it's been a good week. And we're ending here on a very high note. I want to thank you for all of your work, good work. It's been a pleasure working with you this week and every week. And look forward to, as a neighbor of right across the Delaware River, looking forward to many happy trails in the days to come. And we got these young pages that are sitting down here at the foot of the presiding officer and the floor staff. And I don't know if any of them still, when they were little kids, if they had a desire to be a firefighter. My guess is I see some of them nodding their head, yes, they do. But maybe hopefully we never outgrow the spirit that compels and encourages people to stand up and play the role of a firefighter, either whether it's in the middle of the night, a fire, or an accident, whatever it might be. But hopefully that their example and that spirit will be contagious and infect all of us in a very, very good way.